If you are a fan of sprinting, or just like watching the Olympics in general, then you've been looking forward to the men's 100 meter dash final, because that is the event that, as far as I'm concerned, you earn the right to call yourself the fastest man in the world. I do have to admit that this Olympics hits differently for me, because I was there at the Tom Jones Memorial Meet when Noah Lyles opened his season in the 100 meter dash. I was sitting on the finish line and watched him win that race in a photo finish running 10.03 seconds. But that was then, and this is now, because as the reigning world champion in that event, he's now run as fast as 9.81 seconds, which is technically a new PR. But if we're gonna keep it honest, he is not the only fast man in the world right now. We have seen Kishane Thompson go 9.77 seconds and make it look like it wasn't all that hard. And Ferdinand Omanyala, because he always runs fast when he's over in Kenya, went 9.79 seconds himself. If anybody tells you that they know for certain who's going to win the 100 at this Olympics, they're probably lying to you, because it's looking pretty wide open at this moment. It was actually pretty wide open at the last Olympics, which is why nobody saw Lamont Marcell Jacobs coming when he won the event. But since this is the moment that we've all been waiting for, I figured I should put my brutally honest opinions on the record. So that way, if I do get it right, I can say that I told you so. And if I get it wrong, I can just tell you that I'm human. Most people I talk to seem to think that sprinting is about running fast. But it's really about running fast in the one race that you actually need to run. And that race is always the 100 meter final at the Olympics. That is what made Usain Bolt special, because he performed at his best when the lights were on and it was time to perform. As a matter of fact, he performed at the world's best, and we're still trying to get used to watching people run 9.8 about now. So if you really want to know who's going to win the race, I can't give you that answer, but I can tell you everything that history has already taught us about who actually has a shot at it, because we do have some contenders, and we also have some pretenders. No shade, I'm just being honest. The only way that I know how to do this is to explain the rule that's most important on who is going to win the Olympic final. And after that, go name for name about the people who, according to history, actually have a shot. We do have some contenders, but I'm gonna just call them challengers, who technically don't pass the test. And I will explain why. But I'm just gonna be real, that history normally gets it right. So I'm just gonna trust it right now. I am also aware that something I might say is likely going to upset some people, and I'm willing to accept the consequences. So let's have a very real conversation about the men's 100 meter dash at this Olympic Games, because somebody's gonna win the gold this year. And that means the entire world is going to recognize them as the world's fastest man for the next 4 years, because they ain't checking for the world championships, at least not casual sports fans. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, the founder of SCArecruiting.com, where I rank the best track and field recruits across the entire nation. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Before I go any further, I'm going to break down the rule, because the only way, historically speaking, that you're going to win an Olympic 100 meter dash final is you have to be able to run at least 9.85 seconds. Either you were fast enough to do it before you got to the Olympics, or you are going to do it in the Olympic final. That is it. Simply put, any sprinter who is not a legitimate threat to pull that off is not a contender. It doesn't matter whatever else they've done in their career. So when I start discounting people from this list, now you know why. And if you're asking me, who do I think is going to win the Olympics? I told you I don't have an answer, but the one I would give is this. Who has been the fastest, the most consistently, over the past season or two? And he would be that man. Noah Lyles is the reigning world champion, and he also passes that test. And he's also been the most consistently fast sprinter in the 100 and the 200. But right now we're focusing on the 100. As a result of that, he's probably got to be the favorite on anybody who's thinking critically about who's going to win the race. The only problem is, There are men who are coming to the games who've run even faster than anything he's done in his career. He just figured out how to give the performance that he needs to in the one race that actually matters. I don't see a world where he doesn't run close to his personal best, at the very least in the final. And since we know what time that is on the clock, you're probably going to have to run 9.7 something if you want to win gold ahead of him. There are only 3 men in the field who historically have done that. One is Ferdinand Omanyala of Kenya. He's run 9.77 seconds and now 9.79 seconds. We just haven't seen him run anything like that in a race that actually matters. And by that I mean a world championship level final. So you could take him if you want to. I just want to see more consistency about someone who's going to win the gold. Fred Kerley, on the other hand, has run that fast, and he did it multiple times. But that was really 2 years ago. He's been climbing his way back to that type of form since, and I am pretty convinced that he has something special planned for the Olympics. Regardless, we still need to see it, because if you want to use the Usain Bolt comparison, everybody knew that Bolt was going to win because he showed up faster than everybody else through the season. It's hard to believe that somebody is going to be not in the front of the race throughout the entire season and then figure it out in the Olympic final. But if Noah Lyles isn't going to win it, Kishane Thompson probably has to be your pick for 2 reasons. One, even though you didn't know who he was until like a few weeks ago, he ran 9.85 seconds last year, so he passed the test. And beyond that, he ran 9.77 seconds this year, which is the fastest time in the world heading into the games. But prior to it, at the Jamaican trials, he was running incredibly fast through the rounds. That's what you're going to need to do during the Olympics. The only other 3 men in the field who passed the test are as follows: Akani Simbine of South Africa, Lamont Marcell Jacobs of Italy, and Oblique Seville from Jamaica. All of them I don't necessarily see as threats to win the gold. But stranger things have happened. We know that Simbine is fast enough to make the final. We've just never seen him run that fast in those final races. As far as Lamont Marcell Jacobs, he is the reigning Olympic champion, but that's about all we can say. We haven't seen any truly fast times from him from that moment up until now. So if you really want to pick one of those 3, I guess you gotta go with Oblique Seville. He faced off with Noah Lyles at the Racers Grand Prix and beat him. And of course he ran faster than 9.85 seconds to do it. And he also showed up running fast at the Jamaican trials. He was also in the World Championship final last year. So with everything I just said, I would see him more as a medal threat, even if it ain't a gold medal threat. Because I said I'm trying to be honest, I will give you the 2 challengers who, as far as I'm concerned, are worth mentioning. Because even though they haven't run 9.85 seconds yet, I am convinced they do have the talent, because they both run the 200-meter dash incredibly fast, and they've also given us fast times in the 100 that hover around that number. Kenny Bednarek and Letsile Tebogo. Kung Fu Kenny believes he can break 9.8, and I am inclined to believe him, but we also haven't seen it yet. To this point, he has been able to run right behind Noah Lyles in the 100, and for that matter the 200, but we're still focusing on this event. He did that at the Tom Jones Memorial, losing by 100th of a second, and he did it again at the Olympic trials, losing by 300th of a second. Mathematically, he is going in the wrong direction, but he might be able to correct that before the Olympic final. So yeah, he has the talent to win, or at the very least get a medal. We just need to see it happen, because it hasn't yet. And I honestly don't think we know yet how fast Letsile Tebogo can go. He runs fast when it seems like he needs to. The problem is, as fast as he keeps going, a lot of those races, the ones with the really fast times, he's not finishing in front. He made it to the World Championships and performed incredibly well last year, but he didn't win. And he didn't win in the 200 either. So just like Kenny B, I would admit that he's maybe a medal threat, but I don't think he's making it to the top of the podium. The elephant in the room for this Olympics is that people have brought up the term world record, and they say it in the same sentence with the 100-meter dash. We have Fred Kerley to blame for getting that started, at least emphatically. So let me make myself abundantly clear on this issue. Usain Bolt is not in this field, and nobody who has shown us even a glimmer of the talent that he had, emphasis on the talent that he had, is showing up in this 100. We are going to have to get used to watching people run 9.8, or maybe 9.7 anything. But y'all just need to forget about 9.6 and 9.5 as far as I'm concerned. In case you weren't paying attention, since Bolt retired, nobody has even run 9.75 seconds or faster. The two men who are at the top of that leaderboard, going 9.76, ain't even running the 100 at this Olympics. So I'm pretty sure that somebody's gonna win the gold, and somebody's gonna wear the title of the world's fastest man. But it's probably gonna have a hyphen on it, as the world's fastest man right now. So take your pick, whichever man you think is going to win the gold. You've got a whole bunch of contenders, and even a few challengers. But everybody else is just showing up for participation. Because I admit, track and field is about running fast. Because if you can't do it fast enough, you won't have a chance to win. But the Olympic final is beyond that. Because you have to be able to run fast in the one race that actually matters, where the entire world is watching. Because no matter what the clock has to say at the end, if you're not first, you're last. And that is what history has taught us about the Olympic 100-meter dash. SCA track and field gear is here. Fast is a lifestyle, and what you wear should reflect that. Order yours at scarecruiting.com/shop, or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.